I, S.R. Prasad, Research Scholar at Mahatma Gandhi University, on behalf of Department of Management Studies, Mahatma Gandhi University, I heartily welcome all the dignitaries, distinguished guests, and the participants from prestigious institutes all over India who are participating for the day 4 of Faculty Development Program on Rural Entrepreneurship. Today's first session speaker is Professor A. Suryanarayana Garu, and the topic is Rural Development in India through Rural Entrepreneurship. Professor A. Suryanarayana Garu retired as Dean from Department of Business Management, Osmania University in the year 2016. He worked as Group Director Academics for International Center for Entrepreneurship, Administration, Management and Technology, Hyderabad. He worked for 1 year as Dean Academics for Department of Business Management at RG Kedia College, Hyderabad. He was one of the senior professor of human resource management under the Department of Business Management, Osmania University, Hyderabad, with 40 plus years of teaching and 36 years of research experience. He was the chairman for Board of Studies, Department of Business Management, Osmania University, and successfully completed 2 years of tenure in that administrative position. As a part of his academic career, he has won many awards, honors, and recognitions from across the world. Professor A. Suryanarayan was recipient of Icon HR Dronacharya Award in the year 2018. He was awarded as Best Professor in Human Resource Management. He got a fellowship from World Business Institute, Melbourne, Australia. He is a fellow member of Academy of Global Business Advancement, USA. He is a senior member of International Economics Development Research Center, Hong Kong. He is an associate member for Society of Interdisciplinary Business Research, Singapore. He is a life member of Higher Education Forum, India. He is a life member of Global Management Teachers Consortium, India. He is a life member of Hyderabad Management Association chapter. He is a life member of National HRD Network, Hyderabad chapter. He is associated with editorial boards of several international journals, either as an associate editor or reviewer or member of editorial board. His academic interests are centered on organizational development, performance management, human resource management, leadership, and change management. He gave around 180 paper presentations in international seminars and conferences, along both within and outside India, other than an equal number of paper presentators in the national seminars and conferences. He has over 100 plus publications in edited volumes, journals of conference proceedings. He was a paper setter for 5 PhD entrance tests, PG entrance test, MBA Hospitality Management, and PG Diploma entrance test. He is adjudicator for several South Indian universities for their MPhil and PhD programs under the regular and corresponding mode. 15 PhDs and several MPhil research degrees were awarded under his research supervision till date. He is a resource person for organizations like MCHRD, NPC, NTPC, PGI, NPA, CDM, TSPI, CISF, SCCL, Coal India Limited, CCI, APSRTC, Manage, and many more. It's my honorable privilege to welcome you, sir, to the today's session of Faculty Development Program. Thank you so much.
Sir, please unmute and speak, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, please unmute.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Now, am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yes. Okay. As Prasad Garu has already mentioned to you, today's pre-lunch first session topic is rural development in India through entrepreneurship. It's going to be an overview from my side. And mostly it is going to be rural entrepreneurship, not necessarily exclusively. Okay. When you use the word through, that means rural entrepreneurship is not the be all, the end all of all your endeavors. It is only going to be a means, a tool, an instrument for rural development, but that is not the end in itself. That is what I want to make it clear. Okay, there are several ways of bringing about rural development. One such thing is going to be entrepreneurship of the several ways and means. Next slide. I have got 3, 4, 5, I think, 4 or 5 powerful insights, inspiring quotations, and maybe motivational slogans for those people who want to get into entrepreneurship in general and rural entrepreneurship particularly. See the first quotation. Entrepreneurship is not only about starting businesses, but is an attitude to life, said by Hancock. As one of the speakers was telling, I think it was Vijay Reddy made a mention about it, and then our Ramesh Vemukanti also talked about entrepreneurship is a mindset. It's all about a mindset. Similarly here, I'm calling it as an attitude to life. It's an attitude to life. If we have a set mind, it does not take you anywhere. You need to have a positive mind and a positive attitude. That's why people say, tell me your attitude, I'll tell you the altitude to which you can really reach. That's how it is. Something like, tell me your geography, I'll tell you the history. Tell me your friends, I'll tell you what you are. I think yesterday Ramesh Vemukanti was talking about network. You tell me your network, I'll tell you the network. So something like that. I'll tell you your net worth, something like that. Let us go to the second slide. Entrepreneurship requires an unvanquished spirit of curiosity, an openness to learning, and letting go of the old. So you are free to create the new. So something like that. Who wants equilibrium here? We want an alteration from the status quo. Status quo is not good always. You need to keep moving. You need to go to the next level, the higher level. That's how it is going to be. Only when your curiosity, I think it was Vemukanti, he was raising a question. What do you call this quest? So the quest is the thirst that is there in you, the penchant, the desire, that sort of a thing, the hunger, the passion, the fire in the belly that you're going to have for creativity, for curiosity, for innovation, the inventiveness, the newness, the novelty. That sort of a thing is going to be required, which is unconquered, undefeated. That type of curiosity we need to have. And once again, it was Peter Senge who wrote the book, The Fifth Discipline. He talks about organizational learning. That type of open mind and openness to learning is also going to be very much required. I think it was Alvin Toffler who was telling 21st century illiterates are not those who cannot read or write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. That's how it is. I think one of the speakers is talking about learning, unlearning, learning, and unlearning. Same is the case. That's how it is going to be. It is not simply the 3 R's, the read, the write, the arithmetic. We call them as in childhood. We used to learn this 3 R's. I think one of the resource persons, he made about maybe 7 hours or 9 hours. That's something that is required. That's sort of a thing. Now, you have to let go of the past so that you are going to have a new order, new spectacle, new paradigm, new framework, a new model, new idea, new concept. This is what is required. And then only an alteration in the status quo is going to come into picture. There are 4 strategies basically for any individual, for any organization. One is going to be inactive strategy. What is inactive strategy? Strategy itself is going to be a stratagem, gem of a plan, master plan, a grand plan, a grandiose plan for the future. That is going to be inactive strategy. You don't know anything. World is changing, but you don't want to change. Then it is going to be called inactive strategy. World is changing, then you want to change. We call it as reactive strategy. There is a stimulus. For the stimulus, you're going to respond. A change is a stimulus elsewhere happening. That's how it is. Now, if you yourself want to create a change, you take the initiative. You are going to start something anew. You renew something. Start de novo. In Latin, the de novo. That is for the first time you're doing something. That is going to be another way of strategy. That is going to be to deal with complexities and problems and issues and challenges that you're going to have outside the world. That is going to be called. That's going to be a proactive strategy. In a VUCA world, I think one of the resource persons made a mention about VUCA. The world outside is volatile, it's uncertain, complex and complicated, it's ambiguous. In such a VUCA world, you can't expect the world to be static, stagnant, sterile, fixed, and constant. So that there, you need to do something which is different from inactive, reactive, proactive strategies. We call the strategy as a dynamic engagement. That's how it is going to be. You have to dynamically engage yourself in the world with the uncertainties, the complexities, and the business vicissitudes, the oscillations and vacillations that you are going to confront in endeavor. That is going to be the real strategy that is required, be it a rural entrepreneur or any entrepreneur for that matter. Third quotation. Nobody talks of entrepreneurship as survival, but it's exactly what it is and what nurtures creative thinking. Beautifully said. That is here. Without entrepreneurship, there is no survival. We need to thrive, but before you thrive, you have to survive. You have to gain the business marketplace. But to gain, you have to remain. So to remain, you have to meet the competition. You have to beat the competition. You become the competition yourself and remain the competition as long as you can on a sustainable basis. I think it was Vijay Reddy yesterday. He was talking about the survival, talked about sustenance, talked about success. That's how it is going to be. Success lies in all these things. That is the idea that you may come up with may be enviable, but the resources that are required may not be available. That's how it is. You can't become a bull, a stud as an entrepreneur unless you are going to have a viable idea which is available, accessible, affordable, and also something which you can make it sustainable. That's going to be for long lasting. Don't compromise. Don't compromise on the needs, the wants, the hopes, the expectations, the aspirations of the future generations. We call this posterity. Without compromising your posterity, you should not do anything. Should not do anything. If you do anything, it's not going to be sustainable. We don't call it sustainable. That sort of a thing. Let us go to the next slide, sir. Next slide. Next slide. Next slide. Next slide. Next slide. Prasad Garu, next slide. Okay. Now, next slide. Move. Slide change. Come on. Yes. Next slide. Yes. Now, very popular quote from Mahatma Gandhi. He said, poverty is the worst form of violence. See, if people are going to die of hunger, if there is going to be food deficit, if you are not able to have a spare meal per day, if you are not able to make both the ends meet, thali hai, magar thali khali hai. Naturally, here, what do? You are not able to dip your fingers into the thali, the plate, and you are not going to bring it to your mouth. That is going to be what is called as the worst form of violence that you can think of is the poverty. That's why poverty alleviation, poverty mitigation, if you can use the word. So this is needed and that is possible only through entrepreneurship. That is the power of that particular quote. One more thing, it is none other than Bill Gates, who said humanity's great advances are not in its discoveries, but in how these discoveries are applied to reduce inequity. It's beautiful. Now, we have been experiencing, we have been enjoying scientific breakthroughs, technological advancements, and not simply imitations, and not marginal, not superficial improvement. They're virtually technological breakthroughs. All these modern technologies or emerging technologies are converging and they are going to transform the whole world. But what for these discoveries? What for these inventions? What for these imitations? What for these innovations when you are not able to apply these discoveries for reducing inequity? Because we want to have a society, if not in a socialist pattern of society that we really dreamt about long. Equity, equality, equality, distributed justice, consumer welfare, SC welfare, BC welfare, ST welfare. We all talk about this sort of inequality in society and how to really address these challenges so that the oppressed, the suppressed, the downtrodden, the bottom of the pyramid, the people who are there down, those people are really going to get the benefits of the economic growth, the economic development, rural development. After all, you cannot operate the Indian economy in such a manner that the rich is going to become richer, the richer people are going to become the richest. That's how it is. You should not result in monopolies. You should not result in concentration of economic power. You should not result in unbalanced development of the regions. We want BRD, balanced region development. So, as Bill Gates has rightly said, ultimately, the so-called entrepreneurship really should address the inequalities, the urban-rural divide, those are the poor and the rich divide, that sort of a thing. Next, it is Nightingale, long ago, he said, see, there is a type of bear, rather, 10 times, die in the surf, rolling the way to new world, than stand idly on the shore. What for are you going to be standing there for days together, weeks together, months together, doing nothing before a sea, an ocean? I don't mind dying 100 times on the surf because if it is really going to herald, it is going to become a harbinger, it is going to become a precursor, it is going to become a preliminary, a precondition for creating a new world order where there's going to be benefit, where there's going to be prosperity, where everybody is going to be happy. A win-win strategy, a win-win effort, a win-win change program, a win-win change efforts are really going to be what are required. See what the other gentleman has said. Social entrepreneurs are moving away from rural entrepreneurship, but slightly different. It's also social enterprises. So such people are not content just to give a fish or teach how to fish. I think this particular sentence, very first day, one speaker has really talked about, the source person. That is it. If somebody is going to come to you with hunger, don't just give him fish. How long are you going to feed him with fish? Better you teach him how to do fishing, how to do we call it as angling. So a powerful sentence is going to follow. They will not rest unless they have revolutionized the fishing industry. See the dream that they have got. See the passion. See the vision these people are going to have. These people are not interested in first gear, in second gear, or third gear. They are interested in fourth gear, fifth gear. They are not interested in alpha change, beta change. They are interested in gamma change, that sort of a thing. We don't believe in first order change. We believe in second order change. The whole industry is going to be transformed so that you don't have these problems of hunger and other things. Okay, so you revolutionize. This is where exactly we are talking about transformation of the whole rural landscape, the rural setting, the rural scenario, the rural areas, what do we call it? That's how to go for revolutionization. Don't just tinker and tamper, touch this, touch that, and then twisting it, turning it, ending it, bending it. This is no good. The best thing that you can do is revolutionize. Go to the next slide, sir. Next slide, sir. I'm interested in the top red color one. Mahatma Gandhi once again. Poor of the world cannot be helped by mass production, but only by production by masses. See how pithily said that. What an aphorism by Mahatma Gandhi decades ago. Still so very true, so very correct. The fact that the world poor cannot be helped by mass production. Don't go for these factories and then huge industrial conglomerates and agglomerates, Tatas and Birlas and Dalmias and Thapas, where they are going to go for mass production. That's not going to be the real solution. The real remedy, the real succor, the real aid and assistance, if you really want to ameliorate the masses in the rural areas especially, it is required that production has to happen by the masses. Of course, the stats I don't want to, they live in rural areas, they're still they are dependent on agriculture for the livelihood. And so in this context, I'm just giving the first few slides are only going to be warming up, and it's going to be seemingly innocuous slides, but real insights, real inspiring quotations, real motivational quotes. I am going to be coming up. Have patience. 30 gems are there, and then I'm going to explain each of them so that you get. There is no shortcut for learning these powerful ideas and insights than through quotation. That's why, because after all, first day we had Prasanna Kumar, then we had Chetan.
So how is the day? Good, na?
Then we
how
had
you all are attending the classes? Comfortable?
Then we had Professor Vidyadhar Reddy. Then we had Brigadier Ganeshan, Muralidhar, Ramesh, Vishwanathan yesterday, Kokkana Vishwanath Garu, and then especially PVJ Kamurthy yesterday post live. So having heard so many people, it is very difficult for a person like Suryanarayana to chip in. Talk something without being guilty of being repetitive, reiterating, redundant, and superfluous.
So
that's
before we are going to start the class, can anyone please suggest me what we are, just remind me what we are discussed in the last class. Just give me a summary of last class.
Ramesh Kumar,
Storage device and software.
Okay, next slide, please.
Storage device and software. Okay.
Next slide.
Okay.
Next slide. Come on, let's. Prasad Garu, go to the next slide. Next slide.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please. Come on, we'll get shift the games. Beautiful. Next one. Next. So is this? That's it. It's a very powerful one. Rural entrepreneurship is that entrepreneurship which ensures value addition to a rural resources in rural areas, engaging largely rural human resources. So see, rural, everything is rural. Everything is about rural. See, so very much omnipotent and omnipresent. Rural word. See, I think one of the speakers made a mention of value creation, value addition. In a typical value chain, if the input that you are going to take into a production process, your enterprise or entrepreneurship into something bigger, better, in terms of value, there should be an accretion. Accrual has got to be there, that where exactly, if the input value and the output value, there's going to be no change whatsoever, there is no entrepreneurship. Where is the value creation? Where is the value addition? Where is your competitive edge? Where is your cutting edge? Where is your advantage over the competitors? This is going to be very powerful. Highlight the word value addition. That's how it is going to be. At every step, step by step, stage by stage, phase by phase, when you are going to go through the rural enterprise transformation, the sort of enterprise process, there has to be some sort of a value addition at each stage. Then only it's worthwhile. Go to the next slide, sir. There's a this is a beautiful slide. This is next slide. This is it. India's place in the sun would come from the partnership between wisdom of its rural people and skills of its professionals. If you recall, I think it was day before yesterday, somebody was talking about Palle Srijana. The gentleman's name is Brigadier Ganeshan. If you can recall, my God, the scores and scores, dozens and dozens and dozens of examples is given all about the rural people, the skills, the jugaad that they were able to coming up with. When he says jugaad, that shows that if only you have followed his presentation very keenly, you will understand it is a time that the West is going to look to India, look to China, look to Africa, some of these countries where we are also capable of coming up with a new bottom-up approach to creativity, a bottom-up approach to innovation, where exactly frugal innovation, flexible innovation, local-made, organic innovations are going to be possible. It's going to an approach altogether to innovation. This topic is going to be the 21st century problems cannot be dealt with deftly, adeptly, and adroitly unless you are going to have jugaad, especially in a country like India. So ingenious solutions are possible with the help of rural people. They have got these skills. See, and yesterday, for that matter, it was going to be PVG Murtigaru. My God, whole post-10 session was wow, awesome. He has given 100 examples of agro-based agriculture related products. My God, it was really going to be maybe the slides, unending slides. He was really sharing with all the members of this audience. That's how it is. So you are going to expect a marriage in between rural people and the skills of its professionals, and you can really do wonders. That's how it is going to be. What exactly these people are doing? I think very first day somebody talked about the pain points. The moment there is going to be pain that you're going to see in an individual, in a community, in a tribe, in a place, in a village, then that should be the starting point for you to think of a solution. That's how the son of a mother was having excruciating pain in her activities, day-to-day course, that the son has understood the pain and he has come up with some sort of innovation. That's how it is going to be. The skills of the professionals and the rural people, they have got a epitome of wisdom. They have got their own. They must not have degrees like you and I, MBA and BE, BTech, B Pharmacy. Go to the next slide, sir. I don't want to waste my time here. There's a simple solution. I think long, very old definition for village industry, and the focus is going to be rural enterprise, rural areas, not more than 10,000 people, population, not more than 1,000 rupees, etc., etc. Using the power, with power, without the power, this is how it is going to be. Now, I'm interested in about this. Go to the next slide. Go to the next slide. Go to the next slide because I'm time. I've got, yeah. Next slide. Even today, India lives in villages. I think it was, I think day before yesterday, one speaker said that the soul of India is in rural area. That's how it is going to be. So, in the era of globalization, privatization, We call it as LPG era, liberalization. We are going to think of only entrepreneurship development, wherever it is, whatever it is, scale, scope, level, context, content, intent, actors, factors that are there in the development process. I'm not bothered. The context is going to be rural and it's going to be a huge task. It's a daunting task, a huge challenge for you and I. That's what we are going to study today. People in rural areas are unemployment, poor infrastructure, blah, blah, blah. Problems galore. I can come up with a big list. Let's not bother about that. Next one definition. Several speakers have given the definition. This is at another way. Go to the next slide, sir. Go to the next slide. Try to keep pace with me. I'm going to slowly change my gear. Don't bother about this slide, sir. Next slide. Features of rural industry. Go to the next. No. Earlier slide. Sorry. Earlier slide. Rural entrepreneurship. One sentence, sir. Earlier slide. Earlier. Now earlier. That's it. We can skip the other ones. Rural entrepreneurship can be defined as entrepreneurship. Basically, it's entrepreneurship emerging at village level. See, where is going to originate? Where is going to emerge? Where do you find village? Which can take place in a variety of fields of endeavor. We have seen speaker after speaker. I think today is the 4th day. Already we had 9 sessions by erudite scholars, professors, industry people, and industry capital. They have talked about all these things. That shows how many fields are there for the purpose of taking up rural entrepreneurship, such as business, industry, agriculture, that acts as a potent factor for economic development. Ultimately, the goal is economic development. The goal is equity, equality, equality, distributed justice, welfare, prosperity, property, okay, that sort of thing. Financial ability, stability, solidity, that goes into perpetuity, like an annuity. That's how it is going to be. Just keep this slide for a few seconds. Now, yesterday, Ramesh Vemaganti was asking about what is the difference between business and entrepreneurship. Now, in fact, today, I'm going to bring about some more faces and facets of the differences. Just wait for some more time. Trade, commerce, business, industry, they're all related. Buying and selling is going to be trade. Trade coupled with aids to trade, auxiliaries to trade, that aid, that facilitate. The trade is going to be called as commerce. Industry is creating a form utility, place utility, time utility by conversion, by transformation, tinkering, time, whatever that's going to be trade. All these things put together are going to be called as business. Trade plus commerce plus industry is going to give you B, the business. He's a businessman. I'm a trader, but I'm a businessman. I'm engaging myself in a commercial enterprise. I'm a businessman. I'm an industrialist. I'm a businessman. I'm an agriculturist. I'm a businessman. That's how you have to understand. Go to the next slide. Don't bother. Skip. Now I'm bothered about it. Now, economic growth. This. Now, I was a commerce graduate, 73, 76. My God, long ago, 44 years ago, from Bhadrika college topper. Then I came to know for the first time the difference between economic growth and economic development. As a professor of human resources management, I do talk about workman development, supervision development, executive development, management development, organization development. But I don't say supervisory growth or managerial. We only talk about development, but only in the context of an economy, a country, a nation. We use these two words. But understand, from today onwards, you are not going to use these two words, economic growth and economic development, interchangeably, because they are not synonymous. They are not synonymous. There are dozens of differences that are going to be there. At least before I go to 30 powerful, inspiring quotations, just let me spend 2 minutes. Economic growth, we only say that Indian economy is growing at 5%, 6%, 7%. That is, economic growth is unidimensional. It is only going to be captured in the form of a percentage, one single figure. If I say, sir, at my first PG qualification, I'm a university topper, I got 73.3%. How did I get 73.3%? First year, second year, first, second, third, fourth semesters, all subjects put together, ultimately leading to one single figure. So you cannot really measure my mental, the development, the transformation that has taken place in my personality through 2 years of instruction. The learning teaching process, that is going to be, my percentage is going to be growth, but that because that has happened in my personality. So that's it, my everything, okay? They learn to learn. All these abilities are my development. So economic development is the quality of life. It's living standards. I do remember 73, 74. I had a lesson in my English subject. Rangnekar is an economist. He used to say that we are going to offer promise to the people of India, not standard of living, which is static and stagnant and sterile and decomposed. We want to offer them a standard of living, a quality of life, which is growing, glowing, going up and up and up and up. That's how it is going to be. That's how it is going to be. We are going to have better measures of literacy, life expectancy, healthcare, primary health, primary education, everything. All these things are going to be captured. So, if you look at cockroach, it's only going to be unidimensional. When you dissect a cockroach or a frog, it is going to be cross-section. So, a cross-section of economic growth is economic development through different sectors. Could be primary sector, or industry sector, secondary sector, or tertiary sector, or service sector. All these things are going to contribute to one single figure. Some industries will be languishing. Some industries may not be growing at all. They are they are static and stagnant, and then they got stuck up. Some industries are fast growing, meteoric rise, like they're the real trailblazers. Ultimately, all these economic activities, lines of business, industries put together are going to contribute to one single figure, like 73.3% that I got the first time, second time, the distinction from Osmania Arts College. That's how it is going to be. So, if ceteris paribus, but ceteris paribus is a Latin word, it's not English. Other things being equal, we would expect economic growth to lead to and enable economic development. That's how it is going to be. So keep this in mind, because all the 5 days you do come across a development. But what exact is development? I'm going to. One more slide before I go. Let's check. Economic growth is real output, GDP, NNP, standard of living, etc., etc. And economic development is much, much more than that. It's all about human development. It's all about the welfare and prosperity, people, the people side, the social side, or the human side. That is more important. Literacy rate, life expectancy, healthcare. All these things are very important. And understand, growth will never ever talk about flora, fauna, clean, green, ecology. You only owe an apology to ecology. You damage, you degrade the forest, the environment, also the air pollution, water pollution, sea pollution, all types of pollution, soil pollution, all these things. But they are never considered in economic growth. We only consider formal sector of the economy, but not. But in development, formal, informal, domestic, family, after homemaker, housewife, your mother, my wife, all of them, they are going to contribute so much, very silently. But it's not recorded, it's not measured. Okay, next one. That's how it is. Global warming, next slide. We don't talk about global warming, we don't talk about sustainability, we don't talk of last bullet, which means meeting the needs of the present generation without compromising on the future generation. That is sustainability. That is sustainability. Next slide. Next slide. Remove. Next slide. No. Next. Economic growth. No. Over. Next slide. This is it. I think because running out of time, so I am going to talk about this. This is the crux of my real takeaways are going to be not a dull, drab, disinteresting, insipid information fact that are there, which were already discussed in the last 3 days. Let me go to these slides. Rural enterprise essentials for rural development. See, this is what I coined. What are the essentials, the preliminaries, the preconditions? Let us look at this. So now in the chat box, if at all you can try to type out what is your favorite operational business code. We have lots and lots of codes. If at all you have got a code which is going to have a bearing on entrepreneurship per se in itself, by itself, or rural entrepreneurship particularly, you can really type it up. Or why did you like that particular quotation? You really type it there and then I'll check later. Go to the next slide, sir. Come on. See this, gentlemen, don't bother about reading it. All our dreams can come true when, if we have the courage to pursue. That's beautiful, is it? The interpretation I'm telling you, the interpretation of this slide, see this. That is, you have to have the courage, the indomitable courage. You have to be bold to follow your own dreams. because there will always be obstacles you have to face before you reach your dream. So just because you are going to encounter some obstacles, some hindrances, some speed breakers, some pits and potholes, don't give up, don't give in, give it a try, don't cry. That what it tells you, indomitable courage and dogged determination, the patience, the perseverance is going to be what's required. This is not conveyed by myself, it is Walt Disney. And easily dreaming, and then beautiful quotation about the dreams given by our Abdul Kalam, the no more, and then Abdul Kalam, he said, dreams are not those in which you are going to be getting in your sleep, but those that are not going to allow you to sleep. That is the type of a dream that you have to have. When you want to dream, why do you want to dream in black and white? Color, come on, Panasonic, Kodak, come on, enjoy. Dream must be multicolored. Next slide, sir. See this gentleman, a company by name 37 Signals. He said, instead of freaking out about these constraints, embrace them. Let them guide you. This is it. What is the interpretation? Interpretation is going to be, you are going to have time, money, energy, effort. All these things are going to be going into it. And most of them are going to be your passion, your commitment, your sincerity, your honesty, your dedication, your application. All these things are intangible, but how are you going to convert the intangibles into tangible? That's in terms of products. That is going to be beauty. In rural entrepreneurship, constraints are going to be there, bottlenecks are going to be there, but now it is going to be then the problem that you face outside or out of box, the solutions, the answers, the remedy, the succor, the redressal, the aid, the assistance, the solution that you offer to resolve, to dissolve, to solve that particular problem must also be equally out of box. That's how we have to do. Next slide. See this gentleman, Emerson. Lot of canvassing going in. Our chief want in life is someone who shall make us do what we can. This is the service of a friend. With him, we are easily great. See, what is the meaning? Quotations are pregnant with a lot of ideas. They're aphorisms. They're universal truth. It's not fable. It is real. It is not fiction. It is a fact. It is not a myth. It's a truth. But try to understand the difference between the myth and the mythology on the one side and the technology and the ideas on the other side. See, beautifully said the gentleman. Too many people, they lack vision. What do you mean? We have eyes, but we can't see. We don't have a vision. What is the vision? The vision is, if you are able to see through your mind's eye, you will be able to hit the bullseye. That's how it is. A broad, vibrant, coherent, consistent picture, a big picture, a great picture, a grandiose picture. 5 years down the line, 10 years hence from now, 20 years later, what do you do? That type of vision, if you are going to have, that's beautiful. Okay, next one. Next one. Next one. That's the next slide. Next. Tough times. I think one of the speakers made a mention about it. Tough times never lost. They're not long lasting. They're not perennial. They're not durable. They fade away. But tough people are going to last. So you and I, if you are tough, if you can become tough, remain tough, you are going to do great things. Next slide. See the meaning. That is, there's always going to be light at the end of the tunnel. Don't crib, groan, moan, do chest beating. It's not going to be Muharram. So you are not going to do that because there's always going to be silver lining to a dark cloud. That sort of a thing. So bad situations are going to be there, but they pass the day. They wither, they disappear. That's how it's going to be. Don't give up. Don't give in. Give it a try. Next slide. Oprah Winfrey, such a celebrity. One of the leaders. See what she said. Next slide. Next slide. See the interpretation. Oh my God. So there's only one sentence. If you have started your raga, just in the end game, go on and on and on. What will be key result areas? What will be key performance areas? Going to be becoming significant in that area, then outcomes, results are going to follow, and then you don't. Next one, next slide. Looks only 4 words. Remember why you started. Of course, we don't know who has written it. See the meaning. Next slide.
అదంతా కొంచెం lukewarm response కిందనే ఉన్నట్టుంది అంతా. నిన్న నాకు మేడం ఇచ్చారు. నిన్న మధ్యాహ్నం మేడం బీపీ కూడా ఉంది. ఒకసారి మీరు
excruciating, inspiring, exhausting.
ట్రై చేస్తే మనం ర్యాండమ్ గానే చేయొచ్చు.
Remember, this only goes to tell you that when you have started.
మనం ఇప్పుడు నాగమూర్తి గారు క్యాంపస్కి వెళ్ళినప్పుడు లేకపోతే అక్కడి నుంచి మనం ఇక్కడ సర్టిఫికేట్ ప్రోగ్రామ్కి వచ్చినప్పుడు గ్రాడ్యుయేషన్ పిల్లల్లో కొంతమంది మనం బ్రైట్ గా బీకామ్ వాళ్ళు బిఎస్సీ ఫైనల్ ఇయర్ వాళ్ళు కొంతమంది ఇంట్రెస్ట్ ఫర్ ఎంబీఏ ఎవరిని పట్టుకుంటే ఒకళ్ళన్నా పట్టుకుంటే దాని గురించి ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్ చేసేమో మీకు ఏదైనా దృష్టిలోకి వస్తే ఒకసారి వాళ్ళకి చెప్పండి. అదే మన ఇంటర్మీడియట్ వాళ్ళు పట్టుకుంటేనేమో
I am going to be a great person. So a life without a passion, that's how people have been. There's an entrepreneurial mindset. In the mindset, one of the great primary distinguishing characteristics.
MBA strength కనుక పెరగకపోతే ఇవాళ చర్చ తీసుకుంటే ఓకే లేదు. మన ముగ్గురం కామన్ క్లాస్ తీసుకున్నాం సార్. ఇద్దరేగా వచ్చారు, ఇద్దరు వచ్చారు. అందుకని ఒక క్లాస్ నేను మేడం, ఒక క్లాస్ మీరు, ఒక క్లాస్ నేను తీసుకున్నాం. మనం అంటే ఇద్దరు వచ్చారు కదా, మళ్ళీ ఇద్దరు ఇప్పుడు వర్షంలో పెట్టుకుని వాళ్ళలో పోలేదు కదా. అందుకని ఇంకా మనకి కామన్ తీసుకుంటే బెటర్ అవునండి.
Can you fix the problem, Prasad Garu? Background.
Yeah, sir, kindly please mute your speakers. The participants can kindly please mute your speak.
That's another thing. Please. Walt Disney, none other than Walt Disney said the way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing. See, we have commentators. We don't have contributors. It's very easy to give your advice, offer, a suggestion, recommendation, advice, platform talk, pep talk. We don't want that. We don't want the lip service. We don't want the lip sympathy. What we want is action. We want action. We want an output. We want outcome. We want result. So that's how it is going to be. He said, don't become a batsman, become a bowler, become the wicket keeper, wicket taker, but don't stop. But stop talking. That's how it is. Doing is going to be more important. Commentary is not important, but contributing to the team is going to be more important. Next slide. Next slide. Beautiful one is coming up. Next one. Next slide. Oh, you think that what is this? Is it a slide? No, what is the team? That one. Is it? That's it. What this fellow says. I teach OD. I'm a professor of OD for almost 3 decades, more than 3 decades. We talk about it. Most greatest achievements are not and never are possible by one individual working individually, independently, in isolation. But ultimately, end of the day, you are a team builder, a team leader, or a team player. So team building becomes important. I think one of the resource persons talked about group dynamics. I think Ramesh Vemagant, he made a mention about passing reference about it. So try to understand. Team building is all about bringing the right people together for a large block of uninterrupted time. It's not for gupping and gossiping. It's not for group photograph. It's not for selfie or a beefy. It is going to be for something else. You work on. Don't get worked up. You work on the problems. If you say we are Tatas and Birlas and Dalmias, Sappers, Bangus, Jains and Kirloskar, Vadia, Kedia, Singhania, Raju, Sangi, Ambuja, Sindaja, MR, SR, all these things, we don't have the problems. We are cash rich. We are not cash strapped. A lot of wealth we have accumulated. Okay, Baba, if you don't have problems, at least work on opportunities, work on alternatives, new solutions, new problems. That's how new solutions, a new product, new services. That's how it is going to be. So this is how, if at all you want to really reach new heights, once again, we come up with the strategies which are enviable, viable, affordable, accessible, that are there for everybody to reach, everybody to really go for. And you do some sort of systematic follow-up as to whether you are really on your path towards glory and success or not. Next one. This is one. Roosevelt. We know about. The great belongs to the man who is actually in the arena. That's what it is. After all, if it's going to be Egyptian bullfight, don't turn your back. The moment you are going to turn your back, the bull is going to throw you out of the stadium. So that's how it is. You have to hold the bull by its horn. We want you to be there in the arena before you can think of becoming a champion. A triumphant winner, not a defensive loser. Next one. You have to, the great belongs to man. Of course, there's a lot of things that could be. Last one, you have to believe it. Okay. You have to believe it before you see it. That's why the adage goes like this. The adage goes like this. Seeing is believing. That's what do you mean by belief? Belief is going to be, it is going to be a cognitive fact. What God has given you 5 senses is going to be the faith, the belief that you are going to have. That means if you are going to have belief, self-belief, then you can believe others. That's how it is. Trust begets a trust, and love begets love. Similarly here, if you are able to see the faith, unflinching faith, unconditional, unqualified, unfettered, undivided, that type of a faith that is going to really take you to greater heights. Okay, next one. Oh, Steve Martin. Next slide. Be so good, they can't ignore you. See the power. So Pitini said is an aphorism which says that, what is so very great about it? If you can read through, don't just read, don't look at it. Look at it, but look and see through it. That's how, think through it, not think about it, think at it. If you think through that simple sentence, you'll understand that you're the best person. If you are the best bowler, best batsman, you have done exceedingly well in the recently concluded IPL. Are Baba, BCCA is not going to ignore you. They are going to keep you in the list of probables for the Australia tour. That's how it is. Your contribution, your batting, your bowling, the line, the length, the direction, the pacing, the spacing, the pacing with which you did your batting so beautiful. Number of 50s, number of 100s, number of catches, number of wickets, your bowling rate, your economy rate, your strike rate. All these things are not going to go waste. That's how it is. Be so good that people, you are going to build and say like employee branding, best company to work for. So there you are going to say that nobody is going to ignore you if you build up a CV. Now my CV is almost 80 pages now. That's how it is. If your CV is so very much enviable, I think it can very well become a VC with your CV, provided you make it. That's how it is. Become so great, people are not going to turn a blind eye, Nelson's eye, ignore you, undermine you, underestimate you. That's how it is going to be. The name, the fame, the popularity, the izzat, the goodwill, the ease with which you are able to get a job, the ease with which you are able to push a product and service the marketplace. So very great, so beautifully said. Next slide. Never underestimate the power of a t-shirt. What does it say? That is small things. The Suryanarayana, of course. Oh, you're professor, you're professorial. But should there not really dignity, decency, demeanor, personality, presentation, your dress, the way you should appear? Should I be appearing? I rather prefer to die rather look old. That's why I came late, only because I went for a dying, because I want to look glorious. I'm 65 years old. So that means don't say that dress is not important. Dress is important, and the way you address is important, and not the residential area. The address, your home address, is not important. That's how it is. Next one. Most oft quoted, very frequently quoted once again by Mahatma Gandhi. Be the change you wish to see in the world. That's what I said. Not inactive, not reactive, become proactive. Why don't you be the change, the transformation, okay, that you want to really foresee, visualize, plan, forecast, that you are going to be budgeting for, that you visualize, that you envisage, that you envisage, that you enshrine your constitution. That's how it is going to be. That's how Gandhi. Next one. An entrepreneur, next one. An entrepreneur tends to bite off a little more than he can chew, hoping he will quickly learn how to chew it. Gentlemen, my webinar attendees, FDP attendees and participants, I have a class at 11 o'clock. I got it postponed. I have an international conference coming up today, tomorrow. One more tomorrow and after. I have got 4 papers that I have to present. What I need to say is, I tend to put into my mouth, okay, more than what I can chew. I chew at any given point of time more than what I can gulp. I gulp more than what I can digest. That's how it is going to be. If you can do it, you can do wonder. That's what is called as that. Next one. Next one. Yes. We all have things we must do that we don't really care to do, and things we must do that we don't mind doing. Then there is the goofing off. Don't bother. So that it only says that when you find yourself restless, listless, exhausted, okay, fatigued, the Inui is going to be that. The mundane thing, automation, mechanization, robotics, artificial intelligence, all these things, they're no good. At bay, at present, a pretty nifty goal, an overarching goal, an exalted goal, a superior goal, a superordinate goal, a supreme goal. That's entrepreneurship development. That is the supreme goal. And then other things are going to come and go. Don't bother about all these things, become restless and listless. This is the meaning of that. Anyway, is going to that. Next one. Next slide. Dear entrepreneurs, you can start 1,000 businesses, launch 100 projects, and take dozens of companies public. But you only have one shot at being part of your kid's childhood. Beautifully said. What it means is, ultimately, impact is important. Output is important. Implications, impingements, ripple effects, all that got more important rather than the travails and tribulations. After all, life is full of ups and downs, travails, tribulations, weakness, bitterness, victories, successes, failures. All these things are going to be part of life. Ultimately, are the members of your family, your son, your wife, your kids are going to be happy or not. That is, don't crib about these difficulties. Okay, that's the day you're able to convert your adversity into an opportunity, you're a great entrepreneur. That's how it. The felt obligation you have got that. The pain points, the pain, the suffering, when you are able to understand empathetically, then you have the responsive, humane, personal, super personal, then you'll be able to achieve success and then forget about all these things. Next one. A ship in the harbor is safe, but that is not what ships are built for. Suryanarayana may be powerhouse of knowledge. Some people are walking encyclopedia, moving dictionary, that I don't deserve any of these compliments. But what for? If I've accumulated knowledge, erudition, skill sets, multiple skill sets over a bit of time, 20, 30 subjects I must have taught. What for if I'm not able to share my knowledge, if it is going to be there, and then I die as an unsung hero? That's how it is going to be. That means here, you do that. It's not for hoarding. You are going to keep cash. Don't hoard it. Use it for productive purposes like gold and silver. Don't do it. That's how it is going to be. Now, this is about that. Next one. Next slide. I have not failed. I have just found 10,000 ways that won't work. I want to share with you my powerful mantra. Never ever I go to a class and I ask a question much before I put a question like, what is this X or Y or Z? You don't need to define because you never studied. Say what your immediate initial reactions to the word, a phrase, a concept that I am going to use. I will never ever give the answer myself. Then somebody says, sir, no, wrong. Somebody else, no, sorry. Somebody, sorry. The more number of sorries, the more number of mistakes the students are going to commit, the better would be the knowledge. I don't know what it is not. I may not know what it is. I'll ask them what is OD. No, wrong. Ultimately, I give the answer, but at least students are happy because what it is not is known much before you are going to know what it is. That means there's so many things. 20th one, that's how it is. You may not be getting the right answer in the very first attempt. You keep doing like Gajani and Ghori. That's how it is going to be. The growth mindset, which is going to be organic, that is more important than anything else. Next one. Okay. Because, resilience, if you think of it in terms of the gold rush, then you'd be pretty depressed right now because the last nugget of gold would be gone. That's how it is. This is only going to say there is no limit whatsoever. It is seamless, it's limitless. Scale is there, scope is there, variety is there, spice is there, pep is there, juice is there. It is not insipid. That's how it is going to be. Try to understand. Use your ingenuity. Use your creativity. Use innovative capabilities so that you're always going to have an opportunity. Okay. Now then that is going to be, that is how it is. Don't search for divinity. Search for an opportunity. Convert the adversity into magnanimity, sagacity, so whatever, generosity and opportunity. That's how it is going to be. Next one. Drew Houston. Don't worry about failure. You only have to be right answer. That is ultimately, for example, you are pursuing a program MBA, first year, second year, first semester, second, third, fourth, very first day. Despite the fact that man education is identifiable, measurable, transferable, you don't become a bull, you don't become a stud, you become a star performer very first day. You have to wait for the entire teaching learning process of 2 years, 4 semesters to complete. That's how it is. You make mistakes. Ultimately, I'm not interested in that. Like Thomas Alva Edison, 10,000 times he must have missed. At least Jamin chele gaya to chele gaya. I'm a Jamindar, Inamdar, Jagirdar, Jagir chele gaya. But at least I came to know the law point mil gaya mujhe. That's how it is. I'm going to see the positive side of it. I must have failed 100 times, but I have come up. I've come up in life at least when there's good, more important. In Telugu, so don't become like a glass bottle. If it is going to fall down, it is going to result in splinters. It's going to get reduced to smithereens. Don't become like a cow dung. A cow dung, when it's going to fall down, it's going to splutter. It's going to be splashing. It's going to be wasteful. But become like a caught ball. Become like a ball. The more number of times you are going to, equal number of times you are going to go up. That's how it is going. The more force with which you are going to fall down, greater is the force with which you are able to come up in life. That's how it is going to be. That's why people who understand Telugu, with due apologies to non-Telugu speaking gentlemen here, Kandukamavol is Sojan to Kandambadi, Magudamida Kilnagajumi, Mandudu Murpindam of Kandam, but Anakayunda Kadarasmati, Sumati Satkam. That's how it is. Next slide. Don't worry about failure. That's how it is going to be. That's going to inspire all of us. Next one. Your favorite gentleman. From the photograph, you are able to understand who the gentleman is. Jack Ma. In carrying out e-commerce, the most important thing is to keep doing what you are doing right now with passion. To keep it up. That's he's only underscoring, highlighting the importance of passion. Okay, don't whatever you do, gil kholke. That's how it is. Use your so Trikarna Suddhiga. That's how it is going to be. Your head, your heart, your hands, all of them have to be in sync with each other. That's how it is going to be. A passion, a dog determination, that sort of a thing. It should become an obsession. It should become a frustration. If you don't do it, it should become, as I told you, it's going to be a persistently, consistently, uniformly. The same manner, keep doing it. That's, I think you are going to really, that's how it is going to be. Next one, another Buffett. Warren Buffett. Oh, he's no, this one. Someone is sitting in the shade today because someone planted a tree a long time ago. That's how it is. If you are going to really talk about the development, the growth that we are having, going up and up and up, a number of trailblazers, a number of industry capitals, a number of entrepreneurs, a number of business groups, agglomerates, conglomerates, indulging in trade, commerce, industry, business, they must have contributed. That's how it is going to be. If you are able to enjoy King Ashoka, yeah, now we are reminded of him because the trees that must have planted hundreds of years ago, now we are able to enjoy them. Maybe the fruits, maybe the bark, maybe the leaves, maybe the flowers, and at least the shade. That's how it is going to be. Now, next one. Albert Einstein himself has said, next one, yes, try not to become a man of success, rather become a man of value. I think it was Ramesh Vemaganti who really touched upon this point. You should be a man of values, principles, scruples, ethics. If ethics are not there, I think he was giving example of, he keeps giving the same example again and again. He loves it. Azim Premji, you need not be the class topper, English topper, gold medalist, etc. I don't touch you with a barge pole. The moment I notice you're not a man of integrity, honesty, scruples, values, morals, you don't live for them, you don't die for them, you don't uphold them, you maintain them, you don't sustain them. You don't breathe life into such values. I don't want you, even though you are the cream of the society. Maybe IAS, maybe IPS, maybe IFS, maybe university first. I don't bother. He's talking about values. Maybe humanistic values, democratic values, optimistic values, terminal values, instrumental values. Instrumental values. Entrepreneurship is only instrumental value, but development is going to be terminal value at the end. Terminal value. That's how it is going to be. Next one. Next one. Don't risk more than you can afford to lose. That's how it is going to be. It only says that never, ever try to stick to your own comfort zone. Come out of your comfort zone. Unless you're comfortable with comfort zone, unless you are really going to be prepared to deal with this bull by its horn, hold it. Hold the horns, you will not be able to succeed. That's how it is. You should be risk preferring. You should not be risk averse. You should take the risk. Stick your neck out. Maybe some sort of a damage is going to happen. Some bruises, some act is likely to happen. That's how it is going to be. So you have to be wise. You have to be intelligent. Prepare just in case things do not go the way the expert. That's how it is going to be. You have to listen to the customer. Listen to the technology. Listen to the suppliers, the vendors, the local, everything, but also listen to your own internal conscience. That's how it is going to be. Next one, knowledge. Knowledge without action is meaningless. That's what I was giving the example, my own self. If there's a erudite professor who has accumulated knowledge, having worked for the university for 40 years, almost for 4 decades, if you are going to say, I want to rest, I want to relax, I want to become morose, I want to become sulky, I want to be sullen, gloomy, negative, pessimistic, glum, sundry professor. No, I don't want to be like that. I want to work for 2 shifts a day. Still, I keep writing 2 international books. See, in a span of 1 month, I could come up with 2 international books from UK, London, Nottingham on HR. 300 pages books. That's how it is, because I'm idle. I'm not traveling. I have a mobile, but I am not mobile because there is no international travel. That's how it is. So my knowledge, if I'm not going to share it, it's going to get only hoarded and stored. It's not going. You are not going to be the beneficiaries. That's how it is. Next one. Never give up. Next one. Never give up. Never. Never give up on a dream just because of the time it will take to accomplish that. See, I think it was once again I'm reminded of from for everything. Don't search for 2 minute instant everything instant noodles. Mummy, bhook lag rahi, 2 minute beta. We are searching for 2 minute solutions. In a jiffy, you want everything. That you don't get all these things. So they are not good long lasting. Such solutions are not good long lasting. You want to make it sustainable, enviable, available, affordable, accessible. Overnight, such things are not going to come. You have to work on it. Don't get worked up. You work out something. Don't think at them. Don't think about them. Think through them. Like the way this gentleman, Philip Kotler was saying, think through the needs and wants of the people. You sense them. You serve them. You satisfy them. You sense it through market research, 100 marks paper. You sense them and serve them. Production management, operation management, services marketing. Lastly, sense, serve and satisfy. I think Vijay Reddy made a mention about sense, serve and satisfy. Satisfy your CRM, satisfy the stakeholders. Sarvejanas Sukno Bhavantu. Let all the people be happy. There should be your overarching goal for your rural entrepreneurship. Not just one person. You should be happy, I should be happy. That's how it is. Next one. So that's how it is. Next one. And this is going to be service is the rent we pay for being. It is the very purpose of life and not something you do in your spare time. That's how it is going to be. The motto. What is your personal philosophy? Your life goal. Do you have one broad general statement of purpose for your own life, professional life, academic life? Or so that's how it is going to be. This is where exactly you are talking about. You change your lives for the better. It's ultimately going to be not ekkada vesina gongali akkade unnadi. Not we don't want the status quo forever to continue. We want a new world order, new product, new service, new application, new raw material, new language, new package, new technology, new ERP, new solution, new answer, new remedy, new succor, everything new. We want to start something new. We want to renew our battered batteries. That's how it is going to be. This is the last slide. Life is too short to learn from your own mistakes, to learn from others. Don't ever try to reinvent the wheel, Baba. When textbooks are there, why are you going to do your MBA program? Only because we want to learn the modern management concepts, models, paradigms, frameworks, concepts, principles, all these things, so that we don't commit mistakes that are going to prove very costly when you really go for rural entrepreneurship or any entrepreneurship, etc. You are going to learn from others' mistakes so that you don't repeat them. It's going to be huge saving for the economy, for the nation, for the country, for the community, for the family, for your own rural area, for your own village. That's how it is going to be. They should find them their mission to provide rural enterprise many. We want tricks, we want tips, we want guidelines and guideposts and roadmap and route map and fingerposts and signposts. What to eschew, what to chew, what to give up, and what for what you have to give in, all these things. So these are the ones, these are the thinklets. This is a mental, cerebral popcorn that you should be able to generate, ideate, idea generation through brainstorming or whatever. They're all going to be bad. They're all useful, gainful, insightful, provide the thoughtful, and you are going to make them useful and gainful. That's how it is going to be. Now, next one. Next. This is it. Very quick. Now it's going to be very, very informative. So types of industries, people must have talked about it. Agro-based. My God, what an awesome session we had yesterday afternoon. Post-lunch about agriculture industry. Forest-based, mineral-based, textile industry, handicraft, services. All these things are going to be possible under that. Next one. Next one. The characteristics. Next one. This is all people must have made a mention about it. Passing reference directly or indirectly, remotely, approximately, risk-taking, self-confidence, competence, and confidence. Two different achievement, motivation, all these things. There's a person by name David McClelland. He must have studied. He has come all the way from America, came to India, came to Andhra Pradesh, came to Yanam. He wrote a book, Achieving Nations. He had a question in his mind. What is it? Why is it only some countries, some continents, some nations, some communities, some tribes, some families, some individuals alone are going to prosper, achieve something, and not all the people? That's how he has come up with the three achievement motivation. That is power motive, affiliation motive, achievement motive. Only those people like professors, technicians, technocrats, and gold collar workers, and you're also going engineers, scientists, professors. These are the people who are going to have very high sports people, especially games in sports. These are the people who are going to have very high scores on need for achievement. Such people are really going to be doing it. You have to have a market orientation. You have to have integrated marketing, but you have to really have the customer delight. How are you going to put that wow factor into the customers, the products and services that they are going to enjoy, buy from you? That sort of thing is more important. Not simply customer satisfaction, customer delight, customer astonishment, customer bewilderment, customer ecstasy. My God, people are running short of words, and that I don't know, I don't want to use another word. That's how people are searching for that sort of a thing. Ultimately, the game said the wow factor. How? The moment you should say your expression, immediate, initial for a product, for a service must be wow. That's going to be one. Next slide. Next slide very quickly. Individual, group, cluster, cooperative, all these things are going to be there. Now this is going to be typical. Somebody must be talking about this small scale enterprises, how they are going to be. Your MSME. Now there is a ministry. Now when I came to Hyderabad in '69, it was only called as a different name altogether. Now we are going to have a ministry, NIMSME, now National Institute for Micro, Medium, Small Enterprises. That's how it is going to be. A minister is going to be looking after all those things. That's how it is. The limits have gone up recently because of 25, 50 lakhs, 5 crores, 10 crores, micro, small, medium. But the services or a product which is tangible that is coming out to manufacturing, you are going to have limits. I used to study 77. I studied Janata Party government came into being. 1 lakh is tiny sector. Where is 1 lakh and now where is 50 lakhs? That's how the investment limits are undergoing a change. Small scale industry definitions have undergone change several times. That's how it is going to be. Next one. Not many people must have really, nobody made a mention about it. See, government schemes galore. I think one of the attendees was asking a question. Sir, is there any program? Is there any policy? Is there any something? This is how it is going to be seen. Entrepreneurship Development Institution scheme. We don't know what they do it, but they're doing something to transform the little rural landscape. Of course, this is going to be Rajiv Gandhi Ujjali Mitra Yojana, that's how it is going to be. Like somebody, like Postal and Telegraph Department people, they are going to come so many types of certificates and the savings scheme, something like that here. There's going to be a performance credit rating scheme, not your civil score. It's going to implement it through National Small Industries Corporation. We do have Hyderabad, we have got NSIC, the oldest institutions. Okay. Now, and product development, design, intervention, packaging, all these things. Yesterday, the gentleman post on session, he was giving examples of unless and until you are going to go for not simply agriculture, agro-based, auxiliary agricultural activities. Packaging is good one thing. You know, only producing, you don't know how to pack it, how to brand it, how to really market it. You don't have that. We are very poor in terms of packaging. Not only in rural areas, but a country, as a nation, we are not that very good in terms of packaging. So the content is not just sufficient, but the container is also going to be important. The packaging is also going to be important. Something is going to be. That's just like not just your college first year. How are you going to write your CV? How are you going to come up with the profile? That is going to be very important. This is how it is. And we have marketing assistance scheme. You have got Pura. What is Pura? It's going to be a provision of urban amenities for rural areas. See, the thrills, the frills, the attraction, the fascinations, the benefits that you are able to enjoy in the urban areas, peri-urban areas, suburban areas, big cities, A-class cities, that should also, metro, they should also be made available to rural areas. Mobile phones, technology, bandwidth, all these things are going to be examples for all these cities. Next one. That's it. Because ultimately my theme is going to be this. What exactly is the role that is going to be played by the rural entrepreneurs, the rural entrepreneurship as a phenomenon towards economic contribution? See, we are going to have decent setup because we don't have that the BRD concept is going to be in action. That's a balanced region development is not going to come just like that only through urbanization or industrialization, automation, offices, all these things is going to through this rural area. Better distribution of wealth and management, as I told you, what is there in the constitution? Or why do you have Mahal Lobby's committee? Why do you have that committee? Why do you have Supreme Court committee report? And then how the licenses were misused and abused that we studied 70s. That's how it is. We have got MRTP only because of that. So wealth management is important, investment management is important, poverty has to be reduced, that's how it is. I think one of the speakers was giving examples of how our standard of living, despite the fact we crow about, we groan and moan, still we can crow about telling that how, see the agriculture production in one sector, how I think it has shown from 1950s onwards, every decade, and within every decade, year after year, our agriculture output, be it pulses or grains or wheat or rice or oils, all these is going up and up and up and up, and never did you see a downward trend. And check on migration. Why do people unnecessarily exodus? The influx of people from rural areas, urban areas, and big cities, towns is an unwanted phenomenon because we want to have a reverse migration that's possible only through rural entrepreneurship. Helps capital formation, yes. The savings should not be hoarded, but it's going to be used for an application in an industry. You check on the social evils like poverty, pollution, growth, all these things are going to be, because as I told you, the moment you are going to go for greater and greater levels of industrialization, urbanization, all these things are going to come with a concomitant and accompanying consequences which are negative. As I told you, maybe prostitution, maybe poverty, maybe pollution, maybe flora, fauna, all these are going to get damaged. You end up owing an apology to the ecology. There's going to be noise pollution, soil pollution, that these are all now urban inundation. See what is happening to all these things. Greater Hyderabad Municipal Corporation elections, these have become virtually the issues. That's how it is. Awaken the rural youth. The only way you are going to ensure that the people, rural youth who are going to be in deep slumber, not doing anything, you'll be off season, absolutely morose, sullen, gloomy, glum, sundry, sulking always, cribbing always. Such people have to be awake, like Swami Vivekananda. You awaken the rural youth. That's how it is. Next, standard of living, all these things. Next slide. Oh my God, so many slides. Now I think other people are going to take it up. One bad news or good news, I don't know. You are going to encounter my countenance tomorrow also. I am going to come up with innovation, creativity, what is that called as role entrepreneurship practical examples versus success stories. Unfortunately, I prepared those slides more than a week ago, and almost all these slides people have already used, and then they talked about, I don't know what I'm going to be doing tomorrow without being guilty of redundant. Sir, you have heard it, you have seen it. That's a real challenge for me. Tomorrow, once again, post lunch, I'm going to come again. I don't know whether you gain anything or not. I'll make my best effort to the best of my ability. Hope I'm also going to take you through the ultimate goal that you have really have before you for the 5-day FDP. Next slide. That's it. Idea generation, ideation, germination, preparation, incubation, there are all the stages. I think one or two speakers have really talked about it. That's how it is. After all, what is it? The mother of invention. Need the mother of invention. Unless there is going to be pain point. Unless there is going to be what I should say. Unless there is going to be a felt need, you will never be able to come up with an idea. That's how it is. Germination, and they have to prepare for that. And it is going to be, your incubators are going to be there. Hyderabad Central University, I think they have got an incubator. More and more universities are going for incubator. We'll see that. Now, feasible study, you do that. Illumination, something, eureka, that's how it is. So, for example, he was thinking. Ultimately, when he was taking his bath, suddenly he got an idea. That's how we keep getting ideas. The eureka concept is illumination. And of course, you don't introduce, just as we do pilot study before you are really going to introduce it to other cities, other states, other union territories. Verification is going to be, you are going to testify, certify to the public at large. This is a time-tested, truly trusted idea. It's worth exploring. You try this product, try this. This is how it is going to be. There's going to be verification process. Why is it we are not in a hurry to introduce into the marketplace, into different countries and continents, transcending the boundaries of all these countries? Coronavirus vaccine is never being introduced only because we are worried about first stage, second stage, third stage, clinical trials before it is going to be. Unless the efficacy of the vaccine is going to be tested and tried, we are not going to take chances. That's how it is going to be. 95% efficacy. So, drugs and pharmaceutical industries, whenever you are going to come up with a new drug, new medicine, new pill, new care, new tablet, new treatment, you are going to test it, try it much before that. You do not know, medical profession was the only profession which was practicing these evidence-based practices. No practice, no formula, no drug, no medicine ever administered unless you are going to know, doubly sure that it is safe and secure after dealing with human lives. You try it on mice, you try it on chimpanzees, you try it on monkeys, you try it on rats. So much before you are going to do it on human beings, because human lives are going to be important. I think, next slide. I think time. Development cycle, this is a simulatory first step, then support services. Sustainability is also going to come. All these things are. I think the last slide, I think it is going to be some more. So these are all the things: scale, economies of scope, important, global competition. You compete with them. Okay, you have to compete first of all with urban markets, first of all, urban products first, before you can think of scaling it up. Next up, disadvantages. I don't want to say that. Next slide. You are going to have all these things. Yes, people are going to talk about it. Funds, financial problem. I think next speaker, Professor R. Nageswara, Head of Department of Business Management, he is going to take you through the financial area, the microfinance, all those things. Marketing problems, I think people have talked about it. Management problems, that's how it is. Also, all these things are going to be there. Human resource, my area. And then I want to say one thing, negative attitude. Don't be surrounded by toxic people, with negative attitude is going to bring you down. Let there be surrounded by people who are going to pep up your energy, who are going to give you a boost for your motivation level, who are going to bolster the morale of the team. That's how it is going to be. Next one, other problem, of course, political structure, all these things are going to be there. Then, of course, of the small culture, how are you going to meet it? How are you going to beat it? How are you going to really challenge the small culture and still you are going to survive? All these things. Next one, policy implications. I told you. Next one, policy implication. That's how it is. Excellent. That's how it is. That's why I keep telling understand the context, the content, the intent, the actors, the factors, and when you understand the context, the local context should be the pivot, should be the focal point, should be driving everything else that is going to be there around it. That's how it is going to be. You are going to start with the rural areas. So conducive, congenial, affable, cordial to all the people also. Also that economic development, social development, environmental development, everything, sustainable development are going possible only when you are going to have a policy framework which is really going to be exhilarate, supporting, aiding, assisting. And more suggestions, these are the things, labor intensive techniques, of course. Because the more, so there's no meaning in going in for capital intensive. We have seen that it's not going to generate any opportunities. When unemployment problem, disguised unemployment, underemployment, huge problem in India, the vast population, humongous 130 crore population, and you are going to have, don't think of all these things that are really not going to make the people become job holders. That's how it is. Providing market, all these things. SWOT analysis, yes, understand, do that. But strengths are people have been. I'm only surprised, just a suggestion to the organizers, you people have got an MBA program and tourism and tourism, travel. But let one speaker at least talk about, at least for some time, about rural tourism. I think that what I found, subsequently found it to be missing. I was a paper setter for them a number of years. My associates in Mahatma Gandhi University from day one, a frequent visitor. I'm just one phone call away for them. All these people, and it's a pleasure going to Nalgonda, going to Mahatma Gandhi University is like going. It's been homecoming suggestions. Okay, concluding commerce. I'm stopping. Unless the organizers say stop it. Rural entrepreneurship is a vital role. We have seen that. Generating employment, we have seen that. Combined infrastructure, anything that you, so that is also important. Oh, the best slide that all of you must be heaving a sigh of relief. Looking at this, thank you. I'm honored for your patient listening, attentive listening. Hope, not marginal, not superficial, not peripheral, not continual, but continuous listening, attentive listening. Some slides may be projective listening. That is, you are able to think what it could be. Thank you so much. Ramesh Kumar Biryala and Ravi Aluwala and all of the ladies, Sweta is there, and then Prasad Garu for really anchoring this particular show. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Dear participants, any questions?
They can ask me. Yeah, anything is there. Unmute yourself and ask me.
Sir, one question. I am Dr. Guru Shalsina. Sir, one question from my side. Sir, in imparting management skills and the technical skills to the rural entrepreneur, is there any forum available for skill development? That is, it should be very nominal charge, or it should be free, like that. Any?
Okay. Of course, this is not my forte. I can tell you, I think newspaper with monotonous. We are coming across news items where one scheme or the other. I don't think our policymakers at the state level or the central level are really unaware of this, and then they have been, for example, the skill. Many schemes are there. Many are there. Maybe I may not be telling you on the fingertips. I think especially imparting skills, capacities, competencies into these people. And then this segment we have not ignored. Skills and competencies are not the exclusive domain of only urban elite. Even rural people have to get it, and there are skill development. There are, and then not just now. It's all the more skilling India, made in India, make in India, all sort of things. I think all of them are going to touch upon that. And then whenever I am going to meet several professionals in several professional fora, they keep giving me their business cards. They keep giving me business cards. There, it is there. So they are saying that everybody is a HR company. Everybody is a skills. What's called as soft skills. Similarly here, I do come across professionals who are going to say, we are specializing in this particular area called as the rural area. I don't think, who will say you're not going to charge a hefty fees. It's not going to be astronomical. After they understand the audience. The target audience is rural masses. I think yesterday, Ramesh was selling. How are they going to, that's what's called mining the mindsets of masses. So it's going to be.
Sir, the problem arises with the rural entrepreneurship or rural development is that the people in the rural area, they hesitate in investing, first of all, for training and skill, because they treat it as a, yeah, it's a school they are learning. They say that is hame padhna nahi hai, we are not going for studying, so we are not investing. So this is their attitude and framework.
I think you're on. I don't know. I'll take the question offline. The number is there. The next speaker has already come. You have already eaten into the 7 minutes. Due apologies to R. Nageswara, welcoming R. Nageswara. Oh, Namaskar. Please. I think you can put the same person to him. He's equally erudite scholar and professor. Okay?
Yeah, sir.
Thank you so much.
On behalf of Department of Management Studies, Mahatma Gandhi University, I would like to propose vote of thanks to Professor A. Suryanarayana Garu for sharing his excellent insights on rural development in India through rural entrepreneurship. Sir has highlighted and shared on various issues. He spoke about the entrepreneurship is not only about starting a business, but is understanding and attitude of the life. So he also shared that how the technology and discoveries will change whole world. He stressed on balanced regional development. The entrepreneurship address the inequalities income. The real remedy is production has to happen by masses but not in masses. The value creation, value address should be there at every phase under rural entrepreneurship. He insisted on Jugaad also. The rural entrepreneurship is emerging at villages and there is a huge challenge in economic development of any business. The economic growth is unidimensional and economic development is measured by quality of life and standard of life. The cross section in economic growth is measured by economic development. So all our dreams can come through if we have the courage to pursue them. So sir, you have really wonderful through wonderful and inspirational quotations. You have really made the session very interesting. So your energy levels are literally very high. So thank you very much for sparing your valuable time, sir. It was really an energetic session with lot of valuable insights. Thank you so much, sir. Now